Are you able to hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, at the outset, let me recall Ma Manize for her encouragement of all of us to become, in our own ways, faculty on spiritual topics, as well as to continue through this spiritual education by Progressive Group and Thursday Satsang. I'm very glad in this situation it has been restarted from 7th of May. I thank Ram Menon, Ravi, organizing committee members, Deena and Sajani, and all those who are involved from the school and outside, plus all the participants. You know, it is very nice to see so many people are able to attend thanks to Zoom. I also take this opportunity to thank my former colleagues, Venkatesha, and his son Shreyas, who prepared the PowerPoint for me, and you will see the kind of visual effect they have put in the PowerPoint, which I am sure not only will impress you, will go into your subconscious. Now, becoming a better person, Maniza used to mention always. We are all quite familiar with that term, and I'm sure all of you are very well informed. You are also very conversant, and each one of us, you know, we have our own routines, we have our own practices on the spiritual path, and most of us are in the senior citizen group, and we already have set ways of progressing. So what is that I'm going to bring by talking on this topic? Because Maniza never had any presentation specifically on becoming a better person. She used to make a lot of presentations. Is it not very clear? Now, is it clear? Audio?
Yes. The audio is clear.
Should I speak more louder?
No.
It's clear. It's clear now.
Okay, because
very clear.
Anshul put
Very
some
clear.
message outside. So treat this presentation as an article we read in Speaking Tree. Because we all read articles in a magazine or in a newspaper, and what the author has done, he has put together, you know, a lot of thought process has gone behind and compiled from the various sources plus his own experience, and then present it in a manner which makes it easy for us to consolidate our learnings, and maybe you will get some perspective, different perspective to what you already have. Plus, to some extent, it may also reinforce what you already know, so it acts as an assurance that we are on the right path. Take what is of value in what I give, and something here and there. You know, we attend so many webinars, particularly except Wednesday evening for most of us. Every day there is some webinar. Ritambara group started by Beena, and the team is doing excellent work with bringing in so many new program. School has their own programs on Thursday and Saturday and Sunday. Monday meditation study circle, Tuesday meditation study circle. So take what is of value and treat this as an app we download on a mobile. No? And if we want to use sometimes, you can use it like that. But what is the importance of becoming a better person is mainly because there is a very long afterlife states. It runs into several hundreds of years and thousands of years. That is what Maniza used to mention. As well as theosophical literature gives mind-boggling figures. And we want to be in a better place and with more power and influence when we relinquish this physical body, which is inevitable in any case. So what is meant by better, a better person? So in this program, I will give a perspective from ancient wisdom. Who is a person? We should understand what are we? And then what is meant by becoming better? It is not just whatever we think and we progress. Ancient wisdom gives certain direction to become better. And we measure our own progress as well as we compare with others who are better than us. So that is the mark, and we aim and we actually strive and we have passionately to become like them. Because whoever ascended masters were also once like us. That's what Ma Manisa used to tell. Even though sometimes we find it, oh my God, how can I become an ascended master? So we cannot look at Everest when we are climbing. We should look at the bottom of the mountain before we start climbing. So be passionate to become better. And in this today's evening session, I want to make it interactive. That one of the advantages of Zoom, but we cannot have everybody speaking. So we'll be having some people adding to this becoming better. Plus, you can use the chat function. See, everybody will be able to see whatever your thoughts or ideas, either supporting or what you want to clarify. Right from now, you can start using. And each slide we will also not rush through. It is like a Shravana and Manana we will do, so that we absorb what is shown there. And if they have any queries or anything you want to clarify, put it in the chat function. And at the right time, Dr. Sanna and Krishnapani Kesugaju will add their perspective. That is what Manisa used to do in her program. She used to ask some of us, please share what is your view on this and what have you understood, and give different dimensions to that. And at the end, of course, Ajini and Dina will add up. Now, summary of what I'm going to present is, as I said, what I learned or what we all learned based on Ma Manisa's teachings in the spiral of wisdom. She used to call it spiral of wisdom, and we will see why it is called the spiral of wisdom. My talk will cover understanding the creation plan of God. Foundational or core competencies, character qualities to be developed by each one of us. And then what is the way to self-assess where we are in comparison with the benchmark role models. And then 5 features of the body and mind, we should have good clarity. And then what is the hierarchy in which where we will be positioned after death will be determined by how we strive here, because earth is the plane where you actually create the cause. And after death states are only effect. You can't do anything there. You can't create any new cause there. So this is an opportunity given. Everybody says that this is the opportunity you should utilize. Because it's based on vibrations and the frequency and fineness of matter in our subtle bodies. So we will be seeing how to develop all that. As an example, for example, we had Ma Manisa's birthday celebrations yesterday, Founders Day, and today somehow it has come thanks to organizers on my responsibility to talk on a favorite topic of hers. But we were able to meet Ma Manisa here whenever we felt like, or we can go and spend time with her. But in the next level, after we relinquish physical body, it is not very sure whether we'll be able to meet her unless we reach her vibratory levels. She has to come to meet us. So we should not leave that situation. So that is the objective of this program. So may I request Ravi to share the slide or presentation material. And you can move on to the next slide, please. Ravi, next slide. Now, I want some of you, or as many as of you possible, what image, thought, feeling, or word comes to your mind when you see, read, and hear better person? You please type it in the chat box, and let me also see what you are putting. Becoming from present to future. Yes, of course. Present is all the time creating the future. Present is currently made of the past. So there is a saying, you show me where you are and I will tell you what is your past. And what you are doing now in the present moment what at present, refrain from anger, more refined, becoming virtuous. My goal image is becoming stronger. Very good. Some of you have shared. I will give you another. It's a perpetual challenge to oneself, since it's a continuous, of course, it's a continuous process. As a continuous improvement, of course. Be in touch with the divine for longer periods. To better oneself is not to repeat same mistake, to improve self continuously. Becoming progressive, becoming a compass. Okay. Constantly moving ahead on the path to self-realization, detachment from materialistic world, becoming successful, raising consciousness from root chakra to heart chakra, and then try to raise it to crown chakra. Very good. Conversion for improvement of attitude of what one is at present. Review yourself every day to see what you can do to become better. Now I am not good, I want to become good. Removing unnecessary desire, becoming a saint. Oh, very good. Yes, that is one of the objectives. All of us should become very, very saintly, or very, very, very like an angel. Thank you for all those who contributed. And shall we now move on to the next slide, Ravi? And participants can keep seeing the chat box. Okay. Now, who are we as a person is explained in Gita chapter 15, verse 7. In fact, Gita chapter 15 has some significance, because in one of the discourses, at the end, I asked the Swamiji, actually, they are from the Chinmayananda mission and Chinmayananda group. So when the question and answer session came, I took the liberty to ask the Swamiji, there are so many literature in Hinduism, Swamiji, so many Upanishads and so many writings by many masters, and then there is, of course, Gita, and then what exactly we should read. So he said, chapter 15 you read, that is sufficient. And in fact, if you don't have time for that, you can take even one verse and try to understand. But if you have time, then you can read more. So chapter 15 is very important, which talks about basically Supreme Spirit, or uttermost being, and the relationship between seeker and the sought. And we all talk about Maya, illusion, and all. See, I have some ways of keeping it in a simpler manner for my own understanding. You may agree with it or you may not agree with it. That is up to you. But I find it, some of them, I deduct them into easier way I can follow. So this chapter 15 starts with some inverted tree, and with roots above, and then trunk and branches below, and all that. So it is nothing but a reflection of a tree. So when you look at a reflection of a tree, it is inverted. So similarly, what I understand is this world, and that is what many ancient wisdom teachings say, is a reflection of the astral world. So that is how they say this is transient, and then other worlds which are invisible are more real. Madhusya used to tell, we see only 1 out of 199. That was another of our favorite saying, only 1 out of 199 things we see. So important is to have a constancy of purpose. That is what also covers by this verse, and you should not fall back. And an eternal part of myself, because when he is an eternal part, that eternal continuity is there. A portion of us continues for eternity. Manifesting as a being, as a living soul. In the world of such attracts souls, because they are all called as jivas, or we can say persons. And what this manas, which he gives us 6th, consists of emotions. We all know feelings, emotions. concrete thoughts, abstract thoughts, and intellect, intuition. So when he says part, it is amsa, part or amsa, as if he is in the space. See, space in the houses or in the room. Similarly, you have 4 portions of the mind in the mind space. And we all know that identifying the I is the most important. How you identify this I? Thank you, Ravi. Can we move on to the next slide? Unless anybody has any query, put it in the chat box, please. Now, what is this creation plan of God? The manifested universe is rooted in an eternal, boundless, immutable, unmanifest Parabrahman, which is called Dhat. Because when we have entered into a name and form world of a manifestation, we need some name at least. And sometimes, of course, a form also. So that Parabrahman is also called Allah or Father in heaven. So whatever name we want to give, Krishna, Rama, Shiva. So this is beyond human comprehension, basically. And we all have, when we were young, we all used to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and look at the sky and wonder, what are these so many stars are there in the sky? And we used to think, yes, Jehovah. So now we know there are billions and billions of galaxies. So manifested world can be compared to an iceberg. So 90% or 95% of iceberg is hidden. It's exactly similar. There is an invisible portion of the world, the whole, but it also consists of a large proportion of invisible portion. And the solar system and all the universe is a vast theater of evolution. So becoming a better person means to go toward greater and greater perfection. You should keep that in mind. Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Therefore, he said, therefore, because the theater of evolution. And the evolution of humanity is guided by the hierarchy of better human beings. So tomorrow we can also, like what we are doing today, all of us are guiding others. So in so many ways, by our own example, by taking sessions, by planning programs, by organizing. So more and more responsibility will be given. And Ma Manize used to tell that, there is a post vacant of Surya Bhagavan and, somebody has to relieve him. And then Sanat Kumara, Ram Menon used to tell Earth. So there are a lot of positions available. Unlike in an organization where it's limited, here not many people will be applying. So we have a very good way to, grow into positions of power and influence so that we are in a position to contribute helping God in this evolutionary work. And these planes, we have to remember, are surrounding us all around. They are all interpenetrating. They are not somewhere in the sky. Thank you. Ravi, can we move on to next slide? Then we start wondering, what is this person's, each person is different, even though the soul, God says a part of me is inside. But then there is a variation in the way people behave, the variation in the way they look at things, and this brings in its own issues and problems. But it is because of each person exactly is put or has birth in an environment, in a family conducive to spiritual growth. And heredity or DNA contributes to what is innate potential in that person. But more importantly, if you remember in the Spiral of Wisdom, we used to see Bruce Lipton's videos. It's worth watching on the YouTube. He now comes with the biogenetics, where environment plays a very key role in further development. Like a seed, a good seed, unless it has a very good environment taken care of, it cannot really grow into a nice plant. Then, of course, we all come with vasanas and samskaras, which are impure and pure. And that is what is vasana and samskara, I will tell. And then gunas, satya guna, rajas guna, tamas guna, in different proportions. Then we have come with our own karma, and some religions believe that you also come with the grace. Grace supersedes everything else. So leave it to God, because we call him also our mother and father, and why worry? I was born in Coimbatore, as it was told in the biodata also, and the ninth. So I was treated like any ninth child will be treated. So always bathed in love and taken care. And even now when we have family meetings, either now of course through Zoom and all, they treat me till like the ninth child only. And what happens in the family is we develop certain behaviors, certain capabilities, certain beliefs, certain values, certain identity, and you are lucky you also develop certain purpose. Now, I had the benefit of reading Gita, because I had to read Gita almost every day. Of course, my brothers also used to take some responsibility. But then almost every day evening, 6:30 to 7:30, read to my grandfather in his house. And then every Sunday evening, we used to go with our father to one spiritual center, where we used to read and theosophical literature. That is how I and my brothers all got involved. But sisters, unfortunately, women are mostly expected to be at home. And many of them, they used to share me, they used to get married by third form or fifth form or eighth form, even though they had desired to study and they had desired to be independent on their own, but that was not possible. So our family was 9 plus father, mother, and there was an aunt. My father's sister was living with us, so a dozen, and sometimes other relatives will come and stay, so about 14, 15 people. But then I don't think any house creates more bathrooms. So even today, all villas, everything normally one bathroom. And then toilets also normally one toilet. Of course, our house had 2 toilets outside. And we had a big garden and all that. So you get a choice now. So you exercise choice whether to get up early or whether to get up late. So I always used to get up early, because first to go to the bathroom or toilet, there's no rush. And some people, it's also by nature, some people are early birds, some people are late birds. But the interdependent lesson was drawn very clearly, because we had what you call manual scavenging toilets. So when the manual scavenger lady does not come for 3 days, you realize the interdependence of the whole situation. So it was very conducive way we were brought up in all these qualities. And that, see, when we are talking about becoming a better person, we have seen the lineage. Lineage is from Parabrahman. So when we were young, what we used to be told, see, if you become bad or you develop some bad habits or you set some bad example, nobody is going to tell Janakaram is like that. No, they will tell, no, so-and-so's grandson is like that. Subramania's grandson is like that. Or Doraiswami's son is like that. So it will go to your parent or grandparents, or they will tell the whole family. This Kanakulam family we used to be known as. So this whole family is now spoiling the name. Now coming to vasanas and samskara, what do they mean? Blind clinging to sensual objects through intense longing or craving without deliberation or thinking is known as vasana. And we all know what are impure vasanas. I need not carry coal to Newcastle, but just to remind: anger, lust, greed, pride, egoism, hypocrisy, delusion, jealousy, and hatred. These are all impure vasana. In fact, Krishna says at one place, hate no one. So that is a quality we should develop. And virtuous qualities are, good vasanas are mercy, love, tolerance, generosity, celibacy, truthfulness, forgiveness, and courage. Now, what one thing we should remember, one example of pouring milk, we have all heard about, a story in the temple where a big vessel was kept and people are asked to bring milk. And then morning when they opened, they found only water because everybody poured water. Nobody poured milk. So like that, if you think, now imagine each of these qualities have a color. Anger is red, and then, good qualities are blue, love is pink, and the brown is evil qualities. So we all know that. And imagine the universal consciousness of the earth. If we keep on putting what kind of a quality or what kind of color we are adding, rainbow color. So we should try to make it more and more pure and white color. Rather than adding all these impure vasanas. That is the purpose of understanding vasanas and samsaras and becoming better. Ravi, can you please move on? Next slide. Now, what is the journey to become a better person? As we know, it's the journey of the soul. Later on, we'll see what is the distinction between soul is the individuality and personality is which goes away with this birth at the time of death. So the journey of 1,000 miles start with the first step. So one day I told mom, and he said, Ma, I am actually on the 900th mile. So my journey is only 100 miles, I told her. She said, Bata, lucky for you. But then, once you reach that 1,000th mile, again you have to start on a 1,000-mile journey. And that is what is meant by this journey. Because this is a never-ending journey of 1,000 miles. And every time we have to start with the first step. And we learn to function from ego to no ego, lower self to higher self, head to brain to heart and gut, matter to consciousness, and gross to fine, visible to invisible. Now, Ramakrishna gives an example. It is also a worthwhile mission with immeasurable outcome, and pearls are shown there. You know how difficult it is to get pearls. You have to dive very deep. So developing all these qualities and then benchmarking to people whom we should benchmark is a really hard work. And it is like getting pearls. So each quality you have to look at as a pearl, beautiful pearl. You have to do the deep dive. And Ramakrishna parable says there is a forest and people go into the journey into the forest exploring from a village or a town. And some people are satisfied when they first find iron, and they bring iron and they are satisfied and they start building some houses around that place because iron is more valuable than earth. And then next people explore some more into the forest and find valuable than iron, so they are very happy. Then some more people are not satisfied, they go further and then they find there is silver. And then, of course, it's much more valuable. So colonies start developing around iron, then around copper, around silver. Then some people further explore and go and find gold. And after that, people further go and find a lot of precious gems. So this is one of Ramakrishna's famous parables. A lot of number of Ramakrishna's parables, and many of them I remember from those days. Of course, my journey is made in one way easy, but another way more difficult, and some aspects, okay, I have tried to emulate, but other aspects are my name. So I want to be like that who is really the Rama and Ramayana. So my journey is a long journey, like all of us have a long journey to go. Ravi, can we have the next slide, please? Now, these are the role models we should benchmark. The qualities are shown on the left, so take time to really get clarity on this slide, because these are 6 core competence or 6 qualities we all of us have to develop. Faith, there should be no doubt at all. See, doubt brings down any spiritual progress. All ancient wisdom teaching says never have a doubt, never question. See, we can only try to understand, we can only try to clarify. I mean, there's no point in questioning whether Gita, was it really spoken? How did he speak during that time? And how he was able to tell 600 verses before the war started, and now and then in between what was Sanjaya, those are all non-value adding questions. So we should only develop faith and follow the teachings. And imagine the status or position of Draupadi when she was there being stripped. And if any of us had been asked what she can do now, she is wearing a sari and in no time she will be stripped. But she had such a faith in Krishna, and imagine in that kind of small trouble we come, will we really remember? And in that kind of situation, she remembered and called for it. So one way we can look at becoming a better person, we can develop scales of 1 to 100 for each quality and say, okay, faith, I am in 30, and then I have to go to 40, I have to go to 50, and then how do I reach 100? That's one way of looking. Another way is having a role model. So you can have, say, for faith, Job from Bible. It's a very good role model, Job. So we can think of Job, or we can think of Harichandra, who are total faith and telling the truth. So, and then generosity. Generosity is, Karna is very well known, a generous person, he never turned anybody away. In fact, all of us are, we all had in our houses some money kept in a shelf or somewhere where we could give, any beggar come, nobody will be turned away. Of course, nowadays no beggar comes to the house, but in those days, anybody comes, we should not say no, you should give some money or you should give some food. Then generosity is built into some religious practices, like we devote some percentage, everybody has to contribute. Humility, role model is Yudhishthira. You can think of various role models, but I picked Yudhishthira because he was always willing to learn from everybody and everyone. Great role model. And Sudama led a contented life. And in fact, even when he went to Krishna, he didn't ask him anything. In fact, even that flattened rice, what he had taken, avalaki, he even forgot to give it to him. Then Krishna asked, what you have come all the way here and you didn't give me the food or what you brought? Because he was feeling shy to give it to him. Then he gave it to him. Krishna happily ate. And by the time, Sudama went back, everything was taken care of. In fact, there is a verse in Gita, which says that I'll provide everything for you. I'll take care that not only I provide, I make sure it is retained by you. So we should be contented and have faith in God that He will provide us, and have generosity and humility. And Rama is the finest example for being obedient. And Rama's character also shows, see, Kaikeyi never understood, even though Rama is supposed to have been very close to Kaikeyi also. She never understood either Rama or Bharata, both. Our own son also, that is what happens in our own life also. And of course, Mandara came and put some thing in her mind. But that shows that we get easily swayed. So somebody comes and tells something, then we get swayed by that. We are not, so that lessons are there. And imagine when somebody is going to be crowned as a king, whole of Ayodhya, emperor, and suddenly he is told to go 14 years to forest. How will we feel? And Lakshmana, suppose Rama had Lakshmana's qualities, what would have happened? We can imagine. Whereas Rama patiently, obediently took it and went 14 years. Many times I used to tell in HL when people used to come for promotion, hey, what promotion did HL promise when he joined? And in any case, if you don't get, nobody is asking you to go to forest anyway. You are allowed to still work here. So you can use some of these stories also. Devotion is, of course, finest example, Prahlada. Totally devoted, and this Hiranyakasipu used to ask, where is your God? I remember Ram, when I first met him, Ram used to tell, people ask, where is God? Where is God? You should tell them, what is not God? What is not God? That was Prahlada's. So he asked, is he in this pillar? Prahlada said, yes, he will be in the dust as well as he is in the pillar. Of course he is in this pillar. And that is how Narasimha came and killed him. So even though he was his father, he was such an evil man. So you can see how vasanas, karmas, and all those things work together. Now, like we used to do in satsang, Manija used to sometimes stop and ask people to share. So now I love Dr. Sanna to give his perspective on these role models, benchmark role models. Dr. Sanna, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Janaki Ramji. These Puranas, the ancient literature, is not just for the purpose of listening to a story or to make a some kind of a TV program, but these Puranas gives us such a wonderful role models. And today, so beautifully, you have given 6 role models, and through whom we are getting these 6 gunas, qualities, attributes. And these qualities need to be remembered often, and we should start becoming. It is a continuous becoming right person, good person. If it is so, I have made it in a very simple form, all these 6 gunas. I have put it in alphabetical order. For me, if you leave apart the first 2 alphabets, A and B, then that starts this sequence of alphabets, C, D, E, F, G, H, O. The C stands for contentment, content, Sudama, beautiful example. Then D, devotion, Prahalada. And after D comes E, which is not here because it is intentionally deleted, because E stands for ego or self-pride. So we have to delete that E, which stands for ego, and then go ahead with F, faith. Faith in the Lord, faith in your own self, that help is going to forthcome. It is going to come, sure. There is no denial. It is only a slight delay. Then the 4th one is generosity. Karna, wonderful example. He knows he is going to be a big loser if he gives so openly. Whatever people ask, he has been so generous. He was giving out. Wonderful example. At his own self-expense. We martyrs, we can take care of our needs, but at the same time, we could be definitely generous. Then H stands for humility. My God, that's a wonderful example. Having lost in the game, then he was ordained to go to forest. He simply accepts with all humility. He will not stage a comeback and declare a war there. He accepts that and then goes into jungle. And the last one after H, after deleting so many alphabets, I go for O, which is a universal letter, O, Om. It stands for obedience. Obedience. It's a wonderful example, like Rama, when he was told to go to jungle, he went because he knows there is a divine purpose. There is a purpose of his incarnation. He wanted to do his role as an incarnated soul. So this obedience, in fact, could be taken as a divine cause, but still it stands out. How many people are going to be obedient? When he is about to throne, he was about to get into throne, he was asked to go out. Wonderful example. And then before we integrate or before we internalize these 6 beautiful gunas, just another 2 minutes, please bear with me. Before we do, because this has to be a practically oriented subject, we have to take away these gunas and try to imbibe in us. We have to integrate, we have to imbibe them, put them inside, internalize, for which the first thing you need to take care of is kleshas. You have to remove those 5 kleshas, which are said to be poisons. They are the negative things, they are the inhibitors. So these 5 kleshas, beware. The first one is avidya. In fact, one of the reasons why we are troubled with COVID is because of ignorance. We don't know how to manage our food, our health, our ecology, our surroundings, and that led to this kind of a big catastrophe. So the first klesha is avidya, second is asmita, pride, ego. Some nations claiming they are the best. We are the first, and some of these, even the individuals. So asmita, avidya, asmita, raga, that is attachment. Even now, if we are not able to get rid of this attachment, we are sure to face the catastrophe. And then the fourth klesha is hatred. Dvesha kills you rather than killing the other person or harming the other person. And the last one is abhinavesha. Abhinavesha, that is clinging to life and fear of death. So once we clear these kleshas, like when you are about to put oil into motor engine, first to take out the old oil, put a new one. And these 6 gunas which Janaki Ramji has given so beautifully in a picturesque form, we need to internalize, and then only there is some kind of a salvation from this catastrophe. Thank you, Janaki Ji, for this opportunity to add on. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanna. Very nice summation and very kind of you. Ravi, can we have the next slide? See, here what we should be very clear in our understanding is the distinction between personality and individuality. See, personality is transient, consists of physical body, emotions, which is called astral body, where, you know, all our feelings and emotions are there, and then lower mind. So emotions and lower mind are called kama manas, desire body. And then individuality consists of higher mind, birth, where collection of all our experiences are there, birth after birth. And then buddhi, atma. So for easy simplicity, I call this, and we all should remember we are Harvard MBAs. So our Harvard MBA will higher mind, buddhi, atma. So remember the distinction between personality and individuality. And for Christians, they call actually individuals should acquire the personality of Christ. So they are very clear. So you are an individual, you are currently an individuality, you acquire the personality of Christ. So that is the difference. But in our case, either you can adopt that. I mean, if you are open-minded, we can adopt, okay, let me become like Christ or Rama. But let me become like Christ, don't get immediately blocked by, oh, he is Christian. So my individuality should disappear and I should become Christ-like personality. Or as theosophical teachings say, I overcome my lower personality of kama manas and I should always operate as a Harvard MBA. Plus one more thing I'll share in this slide for easy remembrance what I have practiced, because when I was reading Gita, somehow I was able to understand also at that age some of them. And one of my favorite sloga, which is chapter 2:22, just as a man casts off worn-out clothes and puts on others which are new, so the embodied soul casts off worn-out bodies and enters others which are new. So whenever I used to come from school and remove my dress and all and throw it and put on another, or during festivals you wear new clothes, I always remember I am taking new body. And another way I also remember is, please bear with me, because you should remember this was a child or 10, 11 years old boy trying to understand theosophical teachings and Gita combined. And because Atman and body are connected, soul and Atman. So if you want to really develop the soul and Atman, we should act as per the will of God, means we should act and transfer our intentions into action. Something as work, very important. So Atman and body are connected. Then innerwear, I always used to take underwear and banyan as buddhi and emotions, because buddhi and emotions are covered. So that is how we use buddhi to overcome or master emotions. And then outer thing, what we wear, shirt and pant and all, higher mind and lower mind. So it's very easy to remember. That's why I used to remember higher mind, lower mind, then emotion, buddhi, then atman and body. So if it helps you, you can remember like that. And ladies also easily can remember this way, inner wear, outer wear, and body and atman. So this is one of the things I actually made for myself, and you are welcome to use it also. And many times people also say life is like a learning, life is considered a school. So we should not get, overwhelmed by emotions and overwhelmed by problems. So we should look at everything as a learning experience. Everything is a learning experience. And if we take our own life, we have learned a lot, and we are graduating and we are becoming Harvard MBA. So various developments of, is there for every one of these body. That can be in another program. Ravi, next slide, please. Now, this we should keep it always. A very powerful picture. I should thank actually my friends who made this, PowerPoint presentation, giving this birth to death. So it is inevitable for every human being. And now this coronavirus is bringing out in one of the programs I heard. Again, I think Chinmayananda group only, because most programs I used to attend were Chinmayananda who popularized it. So they used to tell whenever somebody dies, we should first ask how did he or how did she live? Very important question. How did she or how did he live? So Yudhishthira's dialogue with Yaksha brings this point very clearly. When he asks what is the wonder, he says the wonder is people are, they think that they'll be eternal. Not that they think like that. Everybody knows we are going to die, but they think there is always time to improve. There's always time to improve. And we all know, see, we can't question again. Ancient wisdom teaches all religions declare or pronounce the truth that there is life after death. In fact, Christ's resurrection is basically to prove that there is a life after death. And all of them teach that there is hell and heaven. So if you follow left-hand path or wrong way or the virtuous way, you will really go to, if you are evil, you will go to hell. But if you follow right-hand path, righteous way, virtuous, good, you have no fear, no anxiety, no worry, because you are assured of going to heaven. And basically, people ask where there is level. Lord's Prayer itself is there, which Ravi chanted in the beginning, but deliver us from evil. And Surah 1 from the Quran says, shows the straight way, because straight way is the shortest way, straight line. And Gayatri Mantra, Vivekananda simplified, we pray to that universal being who created this and let him illuminate our mind with wisdom. So we should keep that in mind when we see this and try to become a better person in those qualities. Next slide, please, Hari. We can move on to next slide. So death, Krishna says, when I leave the body, I take them and go, even as the wind wafts away scents from their dwelling places. Gita chapter 15, verse 8. Verse 7 talked about what is the birth, which you saw earlier. Now verse 8 talks about what is death. Them means this astral body, lower mental, higher mental, buddhi, atma. Now, astral and lower mental leads to kama manas and kama loka. Higher mental, buddhi and atma lead to heaven. Suppose we are in a way, we are, mastered very well and we have relinquished or we have got over all those lower qualities and we are always, trying to behave like the personality of those role models, and always if you operate from higher mental buddhi and atma, then you become eternal. There's no rebirth. So if you relinquish these lower qualities, kama manas, then there is no rebirth. It is the kama manas which makes us come back again and again. Then senses, character qualities, vasanas, samskaras, karmic fruits. So next slide, please. Ravi, we can move on. So we undergo a cyclic journey, physical to metaphysical. So we relinquish the physical body and go to metaphysical or the invisible worlds like Kamaloka, astral plane. Because always remember, earth place is only the cause, and we affect or we reap the results in Kamaloka and heavenly planes. And Ma Manisa and theosophical teachings tell we spend on an average 40 to 100 years on the astral plane. And in mental planes ranging from 800 to thousands of years. So the more good we are, the more time we'll be spending in heavenly planes, thousands of years. And to give an example of what is meant by heaven, you take one of the best days of your life. All of us have very, very best days of life. So you multiply by that some number and it is like that. Heaven will be like that. So every day will be like that. So let us move on to next slide, please. Now, whatever effort we have put in this, cost plane, karma bhumi, on rebirth, she or he recovers all the discriminative knowledge. That is why we are put in a conducive environment and we recover, then we come in contact with like-minded people. We have all come to School of Ancient Wisdom and all those participants are very like-minded who are attending this program. So we get birds of the same feather flock together, because how many people will be interested in these kind of topics or want to explore further? So we acquire whatever we acquire in the former existence and then strive more than before for perfection. And of course, hopefully we become more sattvic vasanas we are born with, and better ones and better vasanas and more pure vasanas and helpful karma. And Manisa used to tell Tejavu, when we met itself first time, 1998, she said, yes, we are all known others earlier and we all have some work to do together. All of us have experienced that. Ravi, next slide. Oh, destination is perfection. This life is one among our many lives we have lived and we will live in the future, because perfection, it is always, you can keep on attaining perfection. We know that. Perfection also stands for Purnam. At every moment in our life with mindfulness, we should make it a perfect moment, Purnam. So don't leave any residue, don't have any regret, don't have any guilt. Complete that moment fully, be fully present, like a child. That's an example is put of a child. Now, of course, I live with my grandson, so the way it is so nice to learn. Just fully 100% is present in the moment. So we should try to develop that quality of completeness, perfection, and keep on improving. And we return back to where we started and then embark again on a journey to perfection. What is this ascending steps of the spiral of wisdom of the hierarchy? See, Earth is managed by so many hierarchies. There is a president, there is prime minister, council of ministers, global leaders like that. Imagine now billions of galaxies, solar system. So there are so many people who are to manage. They are called, Kohans. Okay, Mahakohans. Or you can say divine beings. So mythology gives like Indra and various other Varuna, Agni and all. These are representative of people who manage various functions. So we should aspire to become. So after this human being, human birth, we have 3 more levels to attain. So we should strive for that. 3 more levels of hierarchy is there, and within that hierarchy, of course, there are different. For example, simple thing. Many of us joined as management training. But by the time a child developed us, we were in a position to handle divisions, complexes. Some of us became chairman, directors. So That is the kind of hierarchy in which the whole global system is being run, universes. So next slide, please, Ravi. So you can see the evolution is guided, controlled, and directed by almost endless series of hierarchies of sentient beings, each having a mission, each having a role. That is why sometimes analogy is given like a large orchestra, or, so there are many ways. And if you see in that pyramid, the bottommost portion is humanity. The next three levels are the Kohans, that is angelic beings, guardian angels, and bigger angels. We have heard of angels like Michael and Gabriel, and then Saint Germain in Manises. We have seen in School of Ancient Wisdom and in Manises' house, a lot of angels or ascended masters photos are there. So these are three levels of ascended masters. They vary infinitely in their respective degrees of perfection. Now I request Krishnapani Kesuraju to take about 5 minutes and tell us more about these hierarchies.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, slightly louder will be better, I think.
Yeah. 1 minute. Just hold on. Thank you, Janaki Ramji. There seem to be some background disturbance. Some of them need to be muted, I think. Ravi, can you please mute all the other participants?
Done, sir.
Thank you. Now, coming to the aspect of hierarchies, I am going to dwell upon it based on the theosophical literature that is available to us. Ma Manishi was a very serious student of theosophy, and she had a very good understanding of the hierarchies that are there. Just to recapitulate that from the point of view of these hierarchies. See, basically, for a person on the spiritual path, he is supposed to develop certain qualities which will enable him to tread the path. These qualifications we have earlier seen, I think in several presentations, there was this reference to Viveka, Vairagya, Shatsampatti and Mumukshutva. Discrimination, desirelessness, and the 6 virtues, which are tolerance, cheerfulness, self-control as to the mind, self-control as to action, one-pointedness, and confidence. These are very beautifully given in that small book called At the Feet of the Master, where Mumukshutva is translated as love, because love for the entire manifestation is what this ardent desire to be liberated from the personality and then establish in the individuality from the theosophical perspective, and then transcend the individuality. So this is the structure that is there, where the qualifications are given, and we are given an indication as to how these endlessly this goes on. As Janaki Ramji has very correctly pointed out, there's no end to it, because the ultimate reality is infinite. So in infinity, you will always find that there is a scope for greater and greater perfection and higher dimensions of that reality opening up for us. Now, once a person is qualified adequately, that means he has developed the qualities requisite for treading the spiritual path. He is supposed to have entered the path, and he is called as a Sotapanna. That means one who has entered the stream. This is the first stage on the path. Then the second, these are all given by Madam Blavatsky and subsequently by Annie Besant and Leadbeater and other writers like Jinaraj Dasa, who have taken it from the ancient scriptures and also the literature that was given to us by Madam Blavatsky. And most of these terms are actually from the Tibetan Buddhist nomenclature is used. These terms which are there are basically from the Tibetan Buddhist nomenclature, because Blavatsky belonged to that school where her masters were from Tibet, and they were Buddhists. So the first one, as I mentioned, is what is called as Sotapanna, or one who has entered the path. The next one is called as Sagadagami. Sagadagami means Sakrit Agami in Sanskrit. Sakrit means once. Agami means one who returns. So he has only one more compulsive birth to take, one more additional after this. So that is why he is called, the second stage is called as Sakridagami or Sagadagami. Then he takes, as I said, one more birth to exhaust his karma, and that at that level he is called as Anagami. That means once he has taken that birth, after that he is not going to return to this cycle of birth and compulsive cycle of birth and death. And the fourth one, then he comes to what is called as the Arhat. That means he becomes eligible to support the whole scheme of evolution and be a part of the unfoldment of the divine plan. He is called as an Arhat. Then the fifth stage is what is called as that of an Aseka, or the master. This is the masters of the wisdom that are given in the theosophical literature. Several names are provided and details are also provided. There is a beautiful book called The Masters and the Path by C.W. Leadbeater, which gives a lot of details into these things. A master of wisdom is said to be one who is continues to be connected with the human evolution in order to help the progress of humanity. There are some schemes of evolution and hierarchy where they dissociate themselves with this humanity and may go to other solar systems and all. There is a lot of discussion on that. But basically, when we say a master of wisdom, it means he is one who has taken a pledge to connect himself with the present humanity on this earth and help them for further evolution. He is called as an Aseka in the Buddhist literature, and that is one term that is used. Then comes the level of the Chohans. These Chohans are actually masters of wisdom. They are in fact a level higher than the generally known masters of the wisdom. And we have the Mahachohan also. After the Chohan, we have the Mahachohan. That is the level of the Manu and the Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is referred to as Maitreya. The current Bodhisattva is called as Maitreya. And the current Manu is called as the Vaivasvata Manu. And that's why this Manvantara, the present Manvantara, is called as Vaivasvata Manvantara. So he is the Mahachohan level. Then the Buddha. Then comes the Buddha. These are all called as Pratyeka Buddhas. In the sense, the Gautama Buddha is the first one to have attained that level from the humanity on the earth, from the evolution of humanity on the earth. There have been other Buddhas also. Buddhist literature also talks about several Buddhas. Then beyond the Buddha is what is called as the Lord of the World, or the Logos. His physical body is represented by the sun, the solar Logos. He is called as the solar Logos, and he is the Lord of the thing and system, the planetary system. Then we have the silent watcher, or what is sometimes referred to as the Sakshi. Beyond them is the Dhyani Chohans. The Dhyani Chohans are always in a state of contemplation and meditation on the whole scheme of things. and they are not easily accessible. In fact, from the level of Aseka onwards or the master onwards, they are all not easily accessible for humanity unless you reach a certain level of this thing, where there is a scheme of things also given, where first before entering this stream, you have to be a man of ideals. That means you have to have firm commitment in the ethical and moral principles which guide the whole of humanity. Once you are in that state, one of the masters, they say, accepts you as a probationary pupil. These are the stages in discipleship. So once you become a probationary pupil, you are put to a lot of tests. You have to undergo several tests as any probationary is put to. Then after he qualifies at that level, he is accepted as a pupil. He becomes an accepted pupil. Accepted pupil is now a bond is established with the master where it is not so easily breakable. That means once you are accepted, it is for lives to come and it is going to be there permanently. So you become an accepted pupil where you have a strong bond established with the master. Then comes the stage of what is called as the son of the master, where you are now a part of the consciousness of the master. You are now a part of the consciousness of the indivisible part of the consciousness of the master, and therefore is called as a son of the master. Now that is the true relationship between a guru and a disciple, where one becomes a part of the consciousness of the master. After this, then you are initiated, and there are several levels of initiation of first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and all, which I have mentioned earlier, where you become a Sotapanna, Sagadagami, Anagami, Arhat, Aseka, and all those things. Once after becoming an initiate, then the whole vistas is open to you, where you progressively become more and more perfect, and more useful in the unfoldment of the divine plan. So one thing which we have to remember is the spiritual path is not something where you are going to cross over and take full rest and you don't have any work and nothing to be done and all that. It is the other way around. You will have a tremendous amount of responsibilities and tremendous amount of work to be done, looking at this vast humanity and other creatures. So you are actually taking up tremendous responsibility, and tremendous amount of work is thrust on you to ensure the consummate handling of the divine plan, and see that you become a conscious and a willing participant in the unfoldment of the divine plan. These are the various stages that are given. There is a PowerPoint presentation on this prepared by Professor K.V.K. Nehru. These are available with the School of the Ancient Wisdom also, and those who are interested, they can always access them. If somebody wants it, I can retrieve them and post them for the study of the serious participants who are interested in knowing more and more about it. Thank you so much, Janaki Ramji.
Thank you, Krishnapani Kesaraju. Very nice of you to add that perspective, and what is ahead of us to strive for, and that responsibility has to be exercised in the right manner to benefit humanity and help people, alleviate their suffering. And that is the whole, develop more and more compassion, unconditional love, and forgiveness, and we know those qualities. Ravi, next slide. Now, this was one of another Maniza's favorite saying, and it is near her, memorial also. The soul is immortal, and its future is the future of a thing whose growth and splendor has no limit. We have some examples of how Saul became Paul, and how Narendra became Vivekananda, and how we know Aurobindo, we know Chinmayananda. Basically, the whole essence is we should strive and remembering our lineage, because we are part of the some part which has come, as Krishna says in the chapter 15, verse 7. So we should really live up to what is the status comparable to the source. That is the main essence
Janaki
in those character qualities. Yes,
Janaki
please.
Ramji, this particular slide which is shown here
Yes.
is actually the first of the three great truths which are given in the book called The Idyll of the White Lotus
Oh, okay.
of Blavatsky.
Ah,
She has given the three great truths actually. This is the first great truth.
very
It's
good.
calling
It's
that
only
say-
first breakthrough. That's a new dimension.
Yeah, first truth, great truth. There are three great truths. We have a slide for that, which can be, I
We
can,
should
as I
have one
said.
session on that later on. Organizers, I'm sure, will arrange.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Krishna Pani. Ravi, last slide, please. Now we have our guardian angel, Ma Manise, to guide us to live always in our true divine nature of perfection and express that in speech and behavior, because that is the only way we bring from unmanifestation to manifestation, our internal qualities in speech and behavior. He who abides in love abides in God and God in him. So we should be a shining example of that. He who abides in love abides in God and God in him. Now, talking about Manise, all of us had a lot of experience with her. Each one of us have our own unique memories and unique interactions. And yesterday, in the Founders' Day, it was covered. But one thing I always remember among our many other savings is how she formed the School of Ancient Wisdom. And she always used to tell that if she had not founded the School of Ancient Wisdom, masters would have found somebody else to found it. So if we don't try to become better person and take up those responsibilities in the hierarchies, masters will find somebody else to do that. They will ignore. In fact, Ramanan used to tell how the masters find us, because there is some light spark in a divine spark. So they will be scanning the horizon. So who is having the divine spark potential, basically? That's only a potential. But if that right time and with the right opportunities given, environment, karma, everything, we are all placed in sea. Compared to what is happening around us today now, we are all fortunate. We are like in our own heavens here. So if we don't utilize this opportunity, masters will find somebody else. That is what Ma Manise used to tell. If she had not founded the school, somebody else would have founded the school. So I thank you very much for listening to my presentation on becoming a better person, and also Dr. Sanna Krishnapani Kesharaju, who supported us, and of course Sajani and Beena will further take this program along. So now I hand over to Sajani for concluding remarks, and then Beena for vote of thanks. Thank you very much.